Evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 16th meeting of the Capital Improvement Committee. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from the library and the school district. But before we start that, we were going to take up some minutes that we haven't voted on as of yet. I don't believe we voted on the minutes as of May 19th, have we?
Right.
Okay. So we have minutes that are from May the 19th, which was our first meeting. It was our organization meeting, but we heard from the water precincts and the fire department that night. So does anybody have any corrections or additions or comments about the minutes of May the 19th? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the minutes. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as.
That's a good idea.
Gail.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Typed them?
I'll accept the motion, please, Kevin.
So you have, okay, I have a first motion on that?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of Kevin's motion to accept the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And abstentions? We have 2 abstentions. Okay, now, I just received the minutes of June 2nd tonight, and I have not had a chance to even read them. Does anybody else in my position, or would you like to vote on them? Because I'll accept the vote. Motion. Has everyone read them? I'll put it that way.
I read them.
Have you read them, Nick? No. Right, well then, I would suggest we defer accept a motion on these minutes until next week. Okay. And as usual, and as agreed upon, we will not go beyond 9 o'clock unless we agree by a voice vote to go past 9 o'clock. That's been our past practice. So to begin the evening, we'll start with the library, and if the representatives of the library would like to come up and sit down at the table and make their presentation. Library is on page 3 of the new matrix that was handed out tonight. Please state your names for the record, please.
Sure. Mike Lawler, library trustee.
Diane Hathaway, library director.
Please begin.
First, to clean things up, one of these, I believe, shows a total project cost of $4.3 million. The other shows a project cost of $4.2 million. The $4.2 number is an error. It should be a total project cost of $4.3 million. This is for the expansion of the library that I think has been percolating for the last several decades. The $4.3 million total project cost is our best estimate based on the library expansions of similar buildings that we've seen. It's a little bit of a chicken and egg thing because in some ways, once you have a budget, you design to the budget. But having looked at a number of the expansions and having looked at the building plan and some of the requirements of expanding on an older building with a lot of unknowns, we believe the 4.3 number is valid. It shows a $100,000 in 2015, I believe.
2000.
As the architectural and engineering start, with the idea that there's going to be some architectural and engineering work done on this in the year prior to the actual expansion so that there can be bid packages and such. This is going to be built on the land that the library acquired using its library funds a couple of years ago. And just as a little bit of an add-on, this land has been purchased. It's now owned by the town for benefit of the library. There was previously a $100,000 CIP item for temporary parking to be built on that. Now, between work done by the Board of Selectmen and DPW, we have actual temporary parking in place, so we're going to remove that $100,000 from the CIP matrix that I believe had been pushed to 2013.
That was 2012, I believe.
2012, pardon me. Any questions beyond that?
Anybody have any questions for the representatives of the library?
So can I just double check on the numbers? You say you want it to be 4.3 million. The second worksheet in the submittal has 4,150 coming from a bond. The first one has 4.2 million coming from a bond. So is it the second one with the 4,150,000 and then the additional 50,000 up above and then the 100,000 that, those are the correct numbers?
Those should be the correct numbers. I don't know from the town's perspective whether that would be a bond or not, whether that would be a, but that's my expectation, is that it's $100,000, my guess would be general fund, and then a $4.2 million bond for a total project of 4.3.
Okay. So the 100,000 in 2015 and the 50,000 are both going towards Architectural and
soft costs, yes.
engineering? And then the 4.2 is for the construction? Okay. Or
Now you-
4.15?
Yes.
Okay.
The 100,000 in 15 will have to be raised by donations, fundraising, or taxes. You won't be able to do a bond and pull 100,000 out in 2015.
No, and I think the worksheet had shown in the general fund, the 100 in the general fund, and I believe the balance was to be in the bond.
So there'd be separate, you'd have a warrant article for 100,000 or in the budget if approved as a part of the operating budget, and then you would apply for a bond after that.
That's correct. The difficulty with a project like this is we're looking at a total cost of $4.3 million. There probably is, in putting together enough so that contractors can bid on it, there probably is $100,000 in soft costs that would need to be done in advance. So that's why it's broken out in that fashion.
Now, would you seek a bond authorization in the same year that you requested the 100,000? Because it would be awful to buy $100,000 worth of architectural fees and then have the bond defeated after the fact. So you might want to look for authorization the year prior to the actual year that you would want the bond.